we move on from talking about loan deals and talk about Spurs. Now, Scoop King Pete O'Rourke said that he's written a piece a few days ago. Sounds like Spurs are unlikely to be moving for an out-and-out number 9 in January. Paul, are you surprised by this, really? What was your take on that?
At the beginning of the season, I would have expected him to go out and look for a 9. But you look at the way they've started and you look at the way that Sonny's carried the can and the goals that he's scored. And in all honesty, a wide player is going to be cheaper than an out-and-out goal scorer, isn't he? And what out-and-out goal scorer are you going to get? Ange Postecoglou, to his own detriment, has proved that he can work with the squad that he's got. So when he goes knocking on the chairman's door and says, I want 80 million for a striker, he'll turn around and go, why? You've been top of the league all season. You know, we can facilitate you a certain amount of budget. But when you look at the strikers that are out there, are they going to go and pay the money for Osimhen? They're not. That's not what Tottenham do. The type of striker that's out there, the Harry Kanes of this world, they've sold Harry Kane. Who are they going to go and get? Who are they going to buy that's going to have that much of an impact on that side? And with Son proving that he can play as a 9, his best option is probably an improved Richarlison, if you like, a better version of Richarlison.
Don't start about Richarlison with Wayne because it will we'll get a full deep dive. If we mention quickly there, Paul, you've said about Heung-min Son, obviously he's been unbelievable, and I think actually maybe contrary to opinion, he actually arguably could be playing better without Harry Kane in the side up front. Now, the only thing to consider is that when South Korea go to the Asia Cup in January, provided that South Korea do well and go far in the tournament, he's likely to miss Man United away, Brentford at home, Everton away, and Brighton at home. There are there's 4 huge games there. Do you think Ange will be considering that going into January at all? As we mentioned, of course, looking at a wide man, but specifically for goals, because actually, aside Son really being the main man for Spurs this season, where are those goals going to come from?
Well, you look at Spurs in recent history, when they've had these problems in January, they've plugged holes, they've gone to take players on loan. You know, going years back, the likes of Ryan Nelson, when they had problems at centre-half, they bring players in on loan, strikers as well. They've done it before with other strikers, rather than actually going and buying a player that the manager wants and the player that will make a difference. They've brought in loans, and this is a big test for the Spurs board now. Ange has done it. He's proved that he can do it on the pitch, and he's brought the results that the club want. He now turns around to the chairman and goes, okay, I need a little bit of help now. Romero, you can't rely on him. He's going to get suspended at some point, as he's proven already. The partnership with him and Van der Ven has been excellent, but Van der Ven is now out till the new year. Maddison's out. I mean, it's been a disastrous 2 weeks for Spurs, losing Udogie, Romero, Van der Ven and Maddison, your 4 best and most influential players of the season, for a decent length of time. So you go back into that squad, you look at the squad, is the squad big enough, is it deep enough? It's not. And if they were competing in European football every week, they'd be in trouble. So the manager now has to go into the market in January, and he's looking for his chairman and his board to back him.
I mean, one thing they have in their favour is Fabio Paratici is, still pulling the recruitment strings, even though he has got a worldwide football ban, but he's still very influential. He's at the games. He's got Levy's ear. I think that's really important. And he has done some really smart January deals for the club. Kulusevski, a loan to buy initially. Benton Kerr, his fingerprints all over that. So I think he will have the trust of the chairman. He'll have the trust of the board. And I think he's already got kind of a 3-player transfer list for the wide attacking position. One of them is Samuel Elling Jr., who was at Chelsea, now at Juventus. He's one of the 3 on the target list. So centre forwards off the agenda for Tottenham, as Peter wrote, and it's all about a wide attacker. And I think I would expect them to bring one in, maybe on a loan to buy. But I'd expect that deal to happen because centre forwards who might be good enough are too expensive for Tottenham.
And I was going to say, Paul, you're actually spot on, of course, with your Romero predictions. So you definitely get 10 points for the red card call that,
and a lot of respect from this podcast as well.
absolutely spot on. You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.